we ran out of coffee at my house. So, hi friends. This is the last day of pre-filming before I go away for a week. I'm kind of sad. I mean, I'm leaving for a good reason. I have a very small contract coming up in Calgary. I'm only gonna be gone for like 6 days, I think, but it's for theater and that's really exciting. It's the first contract I've had in over a year. Please wear a mask, please, for me. For our industry, please just wear your mask. Anyway, so I've been filming like a maniac the last couple weeks, and I think this video is going to be the second to last video you see, and I'm really excited. I finally get to film this. I've been meaning to film this one for a while now. It took a minute to get everything shipped and for everything to arrive and for everything to arrive not broken. Today is just going to be a first impressions of a bunch of new makeup. Some stuff from Sephora, some stuff from indie brands. It's kind of all over the place, but I think it's going to be a really fun one. And I think we should just jump into it because that's really all I have to say. Can you tell I haven't had any of this coffee yet? Anyway, if that sounds like fun to you, then please keep on watching and let's get started. I'm really hoping I will have time to film something after this as well, because then I will have just enough videos in the bank to tide me over until I come home. And this is not government regulated, but I do want to just quarantine myself for 10 days before coming back here. If you don't know, my studio is at my mom's house, but if I can get 2 videos done today, then I will have enough to take me through without any breaks, which is great because we just made YouTube partner and I want to keep my uploading schedule consistent. All right, so we've got a bunch of new stuff today and lots of stuff to talk about. We have some new glam goth products, which have made a debut in a previous video. I will link that up here if I can remember which one it is. It wasn't favorable. Also, we're going to be trying a bunch of Haus Labs. It's a brand that I've never touched, never tried. We have a bunch of Hank and Henry to try out. Another indie brand that is brand new to me. I've always really coveted their products. Unfortunately, they're part of the reason why it took me so long to actually get around to filming this video. So I made my Hank and Henry order around Cyber Monday, I believe, because they were having an enormous, gigantic sale. And I can't remember exactly when the order finally came in, but it was many months later. Unfortunately, when I opened the package, I was very dismayed to discover that every single powder product that I had ordered was completely decimated. And that is because it wasn't packaged very well. There was no padding in the packaging at all. So obviously it did not fare the journey very well. So I emailed them asking for a couple of replacements. And to their credit, they were happy to oblige once I sent them photographic evidence of everything being broken. And they just immediately made another order and shipped it right away. Thank you so much, Hank and Henry, for that. Unfortunately, one of the products they ended up resending to me was unfortunately not something that I had originally ordered. This was the thing I originally ordered. It was the Lust and Lush Blush and Highlight Cream Powder Duo. And I managed to just kind of press these back in rather unceremoniously. But the Blush and Highlight Duo that they ended up sending me was this one. And they made the switch without telling me either, which if they had given me a heads up, maybe I would have been able to pick something else if this was out of stock and they couldn't send it to me. And it's kind of gonna go to waste for obvious reasons. These two duos couldn't be more opposite ends of the color spectrum. They really couldn't. You couldn't if you tried. So unfortunately, this one I will have to give away to a friend so that they can get some use out of it, because I certainly cannot. Not unless I use it as eyeshadow, in which case, like, I don't know, I have a bunch of bronzy eyeshadows that I can use. Long story short, Hank and Henry tried to make good and I appreciate the effort, but I'm kind of still left with a bit of a bad taste in my mouth. Be that as it may, I'm really excited to try all of the products. Luckily, they resent the product that I was the most excited about anyway, and that was this little eyeshadow duo. But the cool thing about this little unit is that the bottom compartment is full of a corresponding loose shimmer powder. And we have some other complexion products to try, so why don't we just get on with it? So why don't I just quickly prime with my usual primer. This is new, as in it's a brand new, fresh out of the box Hydro Grip, but it is the primer that I have been using pretty regularly for the last like 2 years. But I ran out, so literally this morning I ran to my nearest Sephora and picked up a fresh one because I honestly just couldn't live without it. It's just the best. It's the best primer. You can fight me on that, but I will win. For foundation today, I'm going to be trying out the new Urban Decay Stay Naked Hydromaniac Tinted Glow Hydrator. It's a tinted moisturizer, essentially. Wasn't gonna pick this up, and then I heard nothing but glowing reviews from my very trusted makeup besties, Jacob and Cynthia. This is your fault. When I heard that they had bought this, I was like, okay, you have to tell me if it's worth it. And then Jacob texted me and he was like, P.S. it is everything you've ever wanted, just saying. So I was like, God damn it. So I had to go pick it up. I got it in the shade 20, which is the second lightest shade. The shade range is pretty small just because it is a tinted moisturizer, so there's a little bit more leeway with shade matching. And I've really been enjoying a more light to medium coverage foundation. I've been wearing my Shiseido Synchro Skin that way for the last few videos, and I've been really enjoying it. And then going in with a more full coverage concealer. And the way I've been using the Shiseido Synchro Skin, I've been, get this, applying foundation with my hands. A revelation, I know, groundbreaking. If you've been here for a while, you know that when I first picked up that foundation, I fought with it. Didn't look good with the brush, and it looked kind of so-so with the sponge, but it was just too cakey, and it would gather and crease and sit on top of my skin. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. This is supposed to be one of the best foundations in the entire world, and I don't want to give up on it yet. And then I saw this video by Katie Jane Hughes. If you're not following Katie Jane Hughes on Instagram, you gotta. She was doing her complexion routine, and I gagged when she put on her foundation with just her mitts, but then it was flawless. So I went ahead and did it one day, and it was kind of magic. In short, I want to see if this tinted moisturizer will behave in the same way if I apply it with my hands. Gosh, I've been talking too much. It's got a little squeezy tube. It looks quite fair, but cross your fingers that this works. So I'm just gonna put it on my fingers and just dot it. Oh, this is very light around my skin. And we're just gonna start rubbing this in as if it were a moisturizer. And I think the reason that this works so well with certain foundations is that you really get to warm up the product with your hands. If you work quickly enough, you can get a really nice, even coverage that just kind of melts into your skin. Ooh, it's very glowy. Pretty ghostly when I first put it on, but I feel like the shade down would be my summer shade. It is super glowy. It truly is just a tinted moisturizer. There's like a little bit of evening out of skin tone, but ultimately you can see pretty much everything. But it is a tinted moisturizer, so we should not be surprised at this. What I want to try now is see if it builds up in some areas that I need just a little bit more coverage than this. For that, I'm going to use a sponge, and this is also new to me. So actually a few weeks ago, even before the Animal Crossing launch, which that video will be going up before this. If you've seen it already, you know how that went. So I'm having some mixed feelings about Colourpop right now. Most of them are negative, but before that, I did end up picking up just like one or two things along with a friend of mine who was doing a Colourpop purchase. And you know, there were just odds and ends that I wanted to try out. One of them being this little sponge kit. I took one home with me. It's the Complexion Sponge, and I've been really loving it. But the other one that I have been just dying to try is the Velvet Sponge. I'm gonna just squeeze out a little bit more on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna dot that in some areas that I want a bit more coverage on. Ooh, this is gathering in my nose piercing in a very unpleasant way. Let's go in with the sponge. This is just so unbelievably glowy. I like the shape of this sponge. I like this little chiseled tip here and the flat side. And it's building really nicely. Like there's no weirdness happening on some of my more textured skin. I'm not sure how I feel about this level of dew. Like unset, this is wet. I've been really loving the satin finish of the Shiseido one these days, so I'm just kind of not used to the ultra dewiness of this. So I don't know, I'm on the fence right now. Let's go in with a little bit of concealer now just to pretend that we sleep well. This is nothing new. This is just the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer, which is officially my favorite concealer. The sponge is cute though, and it's not leaving any weird texture, which I think was my main concern. It's a bit unwieldy though, like it's hard to get into this little area here in my inner corner, and the foundation is lifting there just a tiny bit. Oh, she is so shiny. I don't know how I feel about that anymore. I thought I was on the glow train, but this is a lot. Not my favorite sensation. Let's just throw on a bit of cream bronzer. Nothing new here. Feeling like this bronzer is giving me more coverage than this foundation. Some people will walk around with a tinted moisturizer like this and not set it, and those people I feel like are on a different level, because the feeling of this slip sliding around gives me the heebie-jeebies. Oh, and she's creasing like crazy. I don't know if you can see that, but we're just gonna tap those out. This has been on my face for a few minutes, and as you can see, has not dried down one iota. This is something that has been sitting in my drawers forever. So long that Selena Gomez actually has already moved on and come out with a new cream blush. I can't remember the video where I attempted to use this over powder. Let's just say it did not go well. So we're gonna try it before we put powder on, just to give it a real fair shake. I think the color is beautiful and I want this to work. So I'm just going to, it's probably already too much, but let's go into the finger first and pat this out. Oh yeah, that is a lot. Let's throw that over here right quick. So I've used cushion blushes before and I've used cream blushes before, but I've never used like a liquid blush before. Also, I found it really interesting that it was a matte formula, that it would dry down. Okay, gorgeous color. And with this very unset, very dewy base, it seems to be playing really well. Wow, that blended out really beautifully. I love this color. It does dry down though, so you have to work a little quicker. All right, I think that is all of the cream products out of the way. So I'm just gonna do my best to knock out these creases, which have inevitably returned, and try and set this all down. No new powder today, just the one I normally use. I like how that blush still is pretty prominent, even though I've powdered over top of it a little bit. I'm feeling a bit more secure now. I don't know why, but when things are like super dewy like that, I get really panicky. I'm just worried that one wrong move and it will just be, you know, wiped away from my face. Like, it actually makes me nervous. Everything is looking quite matte right now, but I'm sure that will change in like an hour. Let's just quickly contour with a little bit of this Melt Sculpt Stack. And it is the perfect color to contour a nose with. I don't know why Smoky Glow has such a hate on for the stack packaging. I think it's brilliant. This one's really exciting because this product has been in my Sephora wish list for literal years. Like, I think since 2017, when Manny first put this on his channel, I never stopped thinking about it. But then Sephora restocked it and then put it on sale. So there was no more excuses. I finally have it in my hot little hands. It is the Marc Jacobs Tantastic bronzer. This doesn't feel real. I've been looking at a photograph of this product for years. I never thought I would actually get to own it, but now I do. I don't even know if it's really that good, but I really just wanted to know for myself after all these years if it was really worth it. By the way, I did pick up a few Hank & Henry brushes. You may have seen them in like previous videos, just because I couldn't wait. Gorgeous brushes. All right, let's tap into this compact with a nice big old fluffy brush. I'm just going to blend that in around the perimeter. Ooh, yeah, it looks nice on the forehead. She's so pretty. I'm gonna pop off camera real quick just to throw in some brows because there's nothing new there. And then we'll come back and do a little bit of an eyeshadow look with some Hank & Henry and Haus Labs. Sound good? At the beginning of filming, I could not fit this ring on this finger. Now it slides on just fine. Like, I don't know why my hands get so swollen in the morning, but let's move on to some eyeshadow. All right, let's unbox some of this Haus Labs stuff. I feel like Haus Labs is already old news, and like About Face is the new celebrity brand that everyone's about. But it's crazy how much hype there was for Haus Labs and how seemingly really disappointed everyone was in the brand. I feel like everyone's expectations were really sharply subverted when everything got launched, and I feel like that left a pretty bad taste in people's mouths. Regardless, there are some really beautiful looking products. I especially wanted to try the Glam Attack All Over Liquid Shimmer Powders. I got the colors Dynasty and Blue Jean Dream. Dynasty is like this really deep jewel toned green, and Blue Jean Dream just looks like 1960s mod blue perfection. Dynasty is definitely a lot more opaque than Blue Jean Dream. I also got two of the Rip lip liners. They're just a couple of darker nudes that I felt like I was missing from my collection. And the last thing I got was the liquid eye liner, but not in black. I got it in the color Whiskey because I don't have a brown eyeliner. But first things first, I think I'm gonna build the crease. Let's start by throwing a little bit of primer on the lid. Oh dear, just dried immediately. immediately before I could blend it out. All right, let's try that again just with my beauty blender. That velvet sponge didn't seem to take to that very well. What is going on? Oh boy, just not having a good time with this primer today. Well, this does not bode well for the eyeshadow application. So before we go in with the Hank and Henry, I think I wanted to actually throw in a little bit of this bronzer in the crease just to kind of lay down like a bit of a base to blend it into, since we don't have any other eyeshadow to play with today. Bronzers are great for this if you just want a little bit of definition in the crease really quickly. If you already have the bronzer out, you can just kind of throw this in there. Not even necessarily in the crease. You could even just kind of just fluff it all over the eye with a big brush. Also, most matte bronzers make pretty good transition shades for neutral eye looks. I'm excited, folks. Let's pick this little brown shade up on a smaller brush. So let's build this up. This is actually like a really nice little neutral combo here. That was fast, easy, simple, thumbs up. Okay, let's dive into one of these glam attacks. I wanna have a bit of a mod moment with this blue jean dream color. I wanna try and cut out a nice little crease with emphasis more on the inner third and then tapering out onto the outer third. Something I've done before on the channel, nothing new. So let's see how well this thing builds up. It's quite sheer. Oh, she's quite sheer. Probably should have cut the crease with concealer first. That's my bad. But I don't know. I just felt like with a liquid eyeshadow, the whole point of them is kind of to eliminate that step. It cuts a nice line though. I'm gonna let that dry and then I'm going to go in with a couple more layers. Layer number 4 got us there in the end. Also, 4 layers of this makes your eyelid a tad on the wrinkly side. All right, let's put a wing on it. I'm really excited about this because the tip of this looks mighty fine. Really precise, and the liner itself is incredibly opaque. Gosh, the texture of that liquid shadow when it's layered like that. From far away, this look is cute. I like the shape of this liner. Guess we should do a little bit of an inner corner highlight. For that, I wanted to try one of these liquid eye shimmers from Hank and Henry. I got a couple different shades: Starburst, Milky Way, and Celestial. Having a bit of a time even getting in here. Hold on. I thought they were gonna be a bit more jelly-like, but they are quite moussey. They are actually a bit stiff. They remind me a lot of the Jelly Much eyeshadow formula from Colourpop. Yeah, they're not coming out of the component. The little jar is kind of prohibitive, but again, once you actually like blend it out, ooh. And that is Starburst. Wow. Interesting formula. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but the shine. I definitely want to go into Milky Way. I think that will complement this look pretty well. I want to do a little brow bone and inner corner highlight, so I'm going to try using my brush first, although it doesn't seem to want to get in there. I don't know if you can see, but there's like a membrane. You kind of need to puncture to get into it. That's so strange. The brush is really not doing anything at all. Let's see what happens if I take some out on the back of my hand. So bizarre. Oh, uh-oh. 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 Oh dear, it's not it. Oh no. This look is giving me a whole lot more grief than I really wanted or needed. But of course, nothing is ever easy on this channel. So this is not working as a highlight. It is not blending. In fact, it is just like sticking to my skin. I have it on the back of my hand and I was trying to pick up a little bit to blend it, but it really doesn't want to blend. Now I've created this huge mess I'm not really sure how to fix. She's stuck there, huh? And it's not budging either. I'm gonna go off camera and try and fix this, do this all on the other side, put on some lashes, and then when we come back, let's just try and salvage this, okay? Other side is done, lashes are on. These are Lash Goals by Boldface. I've worn them like 3 videos in a row, I'm pretty sure. I just wanted to throw on something that I knew was going to go on without a fight. Between this and last week's video, I'm tired of fighting. So I feel like this side did go a lot smoother for me. I only used 3 coats instead of 4, and it seems to look look relatively the same. Oh my god, I just realized they're not really symmetrical at all, and that's okay. Let's throw on some blush. I have a couple from Colourpop. Again, this is from the previous order that I did before the Animal Crossing order came in. They're from the Poppy collection. When was that? Who knows, right? They look very similar, but this one's a little deeper. We got Out of Sight and Foxy. That icy blue will go nice with this little orange moment. Also, I had to patch this up right here. I just went in with a Q-tip and 99% alcohol. I do not recommend, guys, especially not right near the tear duct. It was not fun. We'll get through this, guys. We will. I'm gonna take Out of Sight first because it's the deeper one. I'm just gonna start building this up. These both have a little bit of glitter running through them, so I'm having a little bit of PTSD about that, but it is quite a pretty tone. That's cute. Let's top it with this one here, which actually has quite a bit of, oh gosh, opacity to it. Definitely brighter, really powdery. I actually like this one better. It's lighter in the pan, but it has more opacity to it and actually shows up. Guys, I'm fatigued. Let's do some highlighter. I think I want to take this. I know it's a bit bright. It's a lot bright. Holy cow. I also really wanted to swatch this loose powder because I haven't even touched it. That is like a lot of glitter. I think I want to put this on my inner corner, although it might be hard to load this up because it's mostly glitter. It is very translucent. I'm not really sure in what capacity I would use that. I think I would need to find a mixing medium and kind of tame it down a little bit before highlighter. Let's throw on a couple freckles. I have something new for that as well. I've been using this in tandem with the Salty Face Freckle Stain, and I think both of them together look really, really nice and dimensional. So this is the Colourpop Freckle Pen. I got it in soft brown. It's got this little felt tip. So I use this one first to lay down some initial larger freckles. Usually I use this one now to cover up blemishes because the felt tip is really good for that. Once you stick it and place it, it doesn't budge. They won't shear out the way a freckle stain will, but they're nice and precise. I look a little bit like a Dalmatian right now, but then I will go on top of that with Salty Face and kind of fill in the other areas with a softer spray. So when I use the two products together, it creates a really nice dimensional effect to the freckles. It's not like I'm going for realism here, folks. It's just a nice effect. Let's take a look at this highlighter. It's in the shade Ornate. So I'm just gonna grab it with a brush first just to see what it looks like. She is very frosty. Let's grab a little bit of Luminoso because I feel like we need this to blend just a little bit better. And then I want to go over top of that with some Coastin, which I think kind of fits the vibe better. Are we saving this? Is this still cute? Is this anything? Let's not forget the nose. I don't know what it is about first impressions videos, but they make me feel a little bit crazy, like a little bit frantic, and then I kind of forget what I'm doing. I think I will actually take this though onto the inner corner because Lord help me, I just want this eye look to be finished. I think this will finally do the trick. There we go. Let's throw that onto the brow bone. Okay, yeah, that worked really nicely as a little inner corner and brow bone highlight. I think we're finally almost there. Last thing we need to do is a lip. I think these need some form of redemption. I tried them in a recent video. No dice, like it was not a good look, but I think it would match the eyeshadow in the crease really, really well. First, we must line our lips, and I want to go in with one of these new ones I picked up. Let's go in with the more cooler pinky toned one. This is Myth. These lip liners say that they are semi-matte. I would have to agree. They're not as ultra creamy as the Colourpop formula, and I actually kind of prefer this just because they're a little easier to wield. Because the formula is a little bit stiffer, it's easier to go in with a light hand. Like this is very nice, but it's still glidey enough that it doesn't catch. It's lovely. Plus this shade is gorgeous. All right, let's give this a second chance. So I think these are the same formula as Blood Rose. I think we'll go with the more muted taupey one at the end here. It's called Carnival. And last time I tried layering them, which didn't work out very well for me. So today we're going to simplify. Also, they smell like something from my childhood, like in a good way. Like it's a good smell. It's very sweet and fruity, but I cannot pinpoint it for you, but it's very nostalgic. Anyway, let's give Carnival a try. I love the color. The formula is very thin. If you've never tried the Glam Goth formula, they're quite matte, like they dry down almost instantly. It's kind of doing the same thing it was before, unfortunately. I'm trying to layer it up and pat it out, but it's just lifting in the center right there. That's really too bad. All right, I'm gonna try it. Just layering it one more time. Oh, okay. In order for it to not be patchy, I had to really load up on it, and the texture is just not good and very much emphasizes all of the fine lines of my lips. And like, I just had them refilled like a week ago. They don't even have fine lines in them right now. Like, how did they find them? I'll do a close-up for you so you can take a look. But you know what? I'm not gonna fight with them because I'm tired. Excuse the red chest. I got it with a little too much setting spray, so I had to go and wash that off. What are my thoughts? Okay, first thought is I'm exhausted. I didn't think this video was gonna be that hard to film. I kind of just assumed I would kind of throw on a quick, nice, easy glam and enjoy working with some fun products. I had to fight with a lot of it, and I don't like fighting with makeup. I don't think makeup should be hard. If you're gonna make a product, don't make it difficult to use. Okay, let's talk about it. I think I'm gonna return this because as much as my base looks okay for the most part once I've set everything, but I am experiencing a little bit more creasing than I normally do with the Shiseido. Honestly, I feel like the Shiseido has converted me into being a satin finish foundation girl. I never thought the day would come where I would prefer a satin natural finish over a dewy finish, but this gave me the no feeling. It was just sensorily unpleasant. There's dewy and then there's greasy, and I feel like this definitely airs more on the side of greasy for me. If you like that sort of thing, then go for it. It's nice. But I think I need just like a titch more coverage. Not a lot. Like, I don't want full coverage right now. That's not what I'm looking for. But this, I just need it dialed up just like a little bit more. I'm a pasty white English person. And so I'm red, I'm splotchy, clearly. So I just need a little bit more evenness in tone. The bronzer is lovely. I'm looking forward to using this more. I like how it's not too warm, but it's also not too cool. It's kind of this perfect neutral bronzer, and I'm kind of stoked to have it in my collection. You know, I feel like the velvet aspect of this sponge particularly is nothing to write home about. It's fine, it works, but I prefer the Complexion Sponge in this kit. It's a really lovely smooth texture. It's really soft and bouncy. I just prefer that texturally over the velvet. Plus the velvet sponge is a little bit more stiff, which makes it harder to fold it up and get it right into those little creasy places where you do need a sponge to blend it out. Also, would not use it to blend out eyeshadow primer. These two blushes were really cute. I like them. I like them a lot better than the ones from the Animal Crossing collection. Oddly enough, the lighter one, Foxy, showed up better than the darker one, which was quite sheer. This little duo from Hank and Henry is fun. The packaging for me, like if I was gonna travel with this, I feel like I could only bring this and there would be no room for other shadows because it is quite bulky. And I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of this loose shimmer powder. I feel like there's a lot of it here, and I think I would just prefer having the duo because the metallic in the duo is quite blinding on its own. I don't think you need that extra topper of glitter. The loose shimmer powder is basically just straight glitter. You would need a mixing medium, I think, to get the most impact out of it, but the matte formula is nice. It blended out really well. I like the color of it. It's nice and neutral. These were a waste of my money, I think. I don't know if maybe they're just like a little bit past their expiration date. Like maybe that's why they were on sale. Maybe they were just old stock, but like they feel really dry. Like you would expect them to have more of like a jelly-like texture, like the Jelly Much eyeshadows, but they're just quite stiff. So you kind of have to scoop it out, and then it's all lumpy and dry when you're trying to blend it out. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like these are just a little bit challenging. Give these a miss. I think there's a reason they were on sale for 75% off. This duo was cute. I'm excited to use this in the future because it's such a nice like Barbie pink, and the highlighter is actually really nice. It's not too glittery glittery. It is quite an icy, cool toned white. So I think I would probably pair it with a more cool toned look next time. I think if you were gonna get anything from Hank & Henry, grab some of the brushes. These brushes are amazing. And these handles are nice and weighty and they're long, which, you know, if you're a person with bigger hands, like my friend Jacob, he's like 6'7" or something. He's got huge hands. And so Jacob told me that he really enjoyed how substantial these handles were. If you're looking for a brush that's not super delicate, that you can really kind of grip onto, that have like a nice balance to them, I'd go for these. These are incredible. Super soft too. All right, Haus Labs, the Glam Attacks are fun. I would not recommend layering them the way I did. Basically what I'm saying is just don't do anything I did in this video. Just do the exact opposite and you'll be fine. The color is beautiful. It's like that perfect mod girl dream. But I would go in first with a blue eyeshadow that's kind of a similar tone, and then just use this as a topper because this one is quite sheer. Dynasty, the green one, was a lot more opaque in the swatch. So I'm thinking that maybe not all of them are made equal. I think maybe some of them are probably a lot more opaque than others. Really loved the consistency and texture of the lip liners, the Rip lip liners. Myth is a gorgeous nude. It's dark, it's taupey, it's a little bit on the rosy side. I also really like the eyeliner. The tip is really, really sharp and precise. And it's nice to have a dark brown liner in my collection for those days where I just don't want to have like a really harsh black wing. The color of it softens the whole look and kind of tones it down a bit. And I'm really about that. So kudos to Gaga. Good formulas over there. And then lastly, the new liquid lips from Glam Goth. I'm so disappointed. I love Glam Goth Beauty and I really liked the first lipstick that they launched, the Blood Rose. There's something about these new ones in particular that just, they do not layer and they do not sheer out very nicely. And once you layer them, they get kind of cakey and then settle just directly into the fine lines of your lips. And I don't want to say it because I love Glam Goth, but I have to be honest, like this is my second time trying them and I have to give those a pass. Like I'm just not a fan as much as I love the colors. Maybe they don't layer on top of lip balms very well. I'm usually wearing a lip mask while I'm filming before I put on a lipstick, just to prep the lips. And usually it's no problem. Like I've used this underneath pretty much every other lipstick in my collection and none of them have any adverse reactions to it. But there might be something in this formula that just does not jive with a hydrating base. But then that would mean that the lipstick would be incredibly uncomfortable to wear. If you were just putting an ultra dry liquid lipstick on top of an already bone dry lip, it would just be like the Sahara Desert. I think that is everything new that we tried today. Gosh, after last week, I was really hoping for a win, but the majority of everything I've tried today is just, it's a negative, which is doubly upsetting because for a lot of this, like I paid through the nose for shipping and got dinged for duties and taxes. And I know that when you order internationally, you are taking a risk and usually that risk pays off because usually the product is worth it. And for some of this, I'm gonna have to say it wasn't worth it, especially the majority of the Hank & Henry stuff. That was especially disappointing, especially after the whole rigmarole of everything arriving broken and then having to replace them and then the replacements not being the right ones. Yeah, it's just kind of poor showing for Hank & Henry for me personally. But as always, I would love to know what your opinions are on these brands. Like if you've had a really positive experience with Hank & Henry, if you have any Hank & Henry products to recommend to me, I would love to hear all of that because I definitely want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, they're so popular. Okay, and I think I have to leave it here because if I hurry, maybe I can get another video in. But before I do, let me rattle it off to you. Here are the many ways you can help out my channel. You can give this video a huge thumbs up. You can comment down below what you thought of everything. You can subscribe. Any and all engagement with this video will help me out considerably in the algorithm. Likes, comments, shares, all that stuff for small creators is super, super helpful. So if you just have a few spare seconds of your life, please engage. You can follow me on other social media. I will leave those right there. Please go check out my Patreon for more behind the scenes type videos, more chatty, get ready with me style videos, stuff more about my personal life. Also, I chat a lot there about upcoming content, ideas that I have for the channel before they actually come to fruition. So if that interests you, or if you just feel like supporting an artist, the link is down below. And there are a whack of petitions for you to sign down in the description box as well. And I think that's everything. So I'm going to go wash off this lipstick right away because it feels like dried cement. All right, folks, with that, please stay safe, stay sane, wash your hands, wear a mask, stay home if you can, just keep doing your best. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. I'm just gonna, oh my God, I feel like I'm on the verge of a breakdown. Let's just not. Let's just